Welcome to Better Than Bookstacks, where we prove to our friends that they aren't as boring as they think they are. My name's Maria.
My name's Jack.
And today we're going to tell you guys a little bit about us.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
Yep. Here you are.
You're listening.
If you keep listening
to us.
I guess.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in. I'm going to kind of preface, this is our first episode. And so we're just going to talk through a little bit of the structure of kind of what we're thinking, and then we're going to do it.
Yeah. Hopefully you like it. I mean, if
yeah.
you don't like it, you know what? Leave some feedback in the comments.
Yeah. If you don't like it,
just
please
let us
keep
know.
watching or listening
or
whatever
don't.
you're doing.
Like, that's totally fine
yeah,
too.
or don't.
I mean, you said that's so sad.
Because it would make me sad.
Oh, don't make Jack sad. He's such a nice guy. You don't want to make
But
him
you
sad.
can make me sad because I'm a strong boy. I'm a real boy. Anyways.
You heard it here first.
You heard it
He's
here.
a strong boy.
Strong boy, real boy.
Strong and real.
So anyways.
Tell them what we're normally going to do,
Better
Jack.
than Bookstacks. Normally, after we goof around a little bit, we are going to have guests on. And we our friends, people we just met.
Yeah.
Anybody, if you want to be on, let us know.
Yeah, could be fun.
It could be
Could be fun.
Maybe. But
it will be.
We are going to just kind of talk to them about what they love to do and what they value, and just hear more about their perspective on life and how they enjoy it. So
yeah,
that's kind of our goal and what we want to do every episode. So
yeah, tell them what Bookstacks is.
Yeah, Bookstacks.
We made it up.
We made it up. So Maria comes up with a lot of just fun, silly phrases that we call jargon.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anybody would actually enjoy jargon, but you should totally try it sometime. It makes life a lot more fun.
Yeah. Just little
make
phrases
up words.
that you say.
Just make them up.
Maybe they make sense. Maybe they don't.
Yeah.
Who knows? Don't let yourself tell yourself. And just
Yep.
do it. So, but Bookstacks, when we're talking about somebody who's a bookstack or who thinks they're a bookstack, more accurately, I think.
That's actually so true.
It's just somebody who thinks, I guess being a bookstack is being kind of boring, kind of like you're just a walking textbook.
Yeah.
You know? And
like an unopened book. It's just kind of sad.
Yeah, just kind of sitting there. And yeah, it just looks boring. Some books have cool art cover.
But not these, not
art.
this Bookstack.
But you don't find the cool cover art in a stack of books.
No, you don't see it.
You find the lame books in a stack of books.
The lame ones and the textbooks.
The ones that you said you're going to read, but you're not going to read.
You're not going to.
So
that's a Bookstack.
That's kind of a Bookstack is just someone who thinks they're lame, I guess.
Yeah. So we're basically here to tell our friends that they're not lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully let you know that you're not lame.
That's actually...
You're not a bookstack.
No, you're not
You're
a bookstack.
better than a bookstack.
Heyo.
And that's what we're here for.
That's the one.
So.
All right. Well, let's get started.
Yeah.
Jack.
Yes.
Tell us about yourself. What is the activity that flows from your values
that
you want to talk about today?
That's a super formal,
Yep, do it.
Okay, all right. Well, okay. I love...
Wait, pause.
We got a thumbs up. It's quality. Oh, we are recording on a webcam, which is
we have an
hilarious.
actual...
It's like a Mac with a webcam.
Is it going to work?
So, please
maybe
watch.
It just needs to be in a
so we have a little bit of production budget. And you don't have to see
if
thumbs
you
up anymore.
if you got...
But if you like it.
If you like...
Thumbs up
we
all the way.
could keep the thumbs up totally. Really, ideally, we're trying to get a camera. So if you guys could help us out, that would be great. Is it going to work?
Well, it only works when we don't want it to work. Anyways.
Sometimes it works.
Maria asked me about
tell us about your activities. What are some activities that you do
that kind of flows from
your values?
What I value.
In life.
I love to write songs. And
Look
that's kind of...
Tell us about your first song, Jack.
My first song I wrote in 4th grade. For some reason, I was feeling really passionate about recycling. I think this was around the time
It's a good guy.
there
Nice
was
guy over
like
here.
there was like reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yes,
Like,
Mitchell
you know
Musso.
that?
I remember him. You remember that song?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we did that in school. Like that was a subject in
Oh.
elementary school. We talked about it.
And you just felt moved.
I guess I felt moved.
Dang.
I guess I was just so passionate about recycling.
Oh, to be in 3rd grade, right?
4th grade.
4th grade and be
Yeah.
moved by recycling.
Yeah.
By Mitchell Musso.
My man. And I wrote a song about it, which was like, I think I had like a melody in my head, but I
Yeah.
didn't play any instruments. So I just kind of wrote the words down and then slid it under my bedroom door. I had a babysitter, and I think she found it, I think she found it.
You slid under.
Yeah, I don't know what. I wanted some affirmation, but I didn't want
Yeah.
to like have a face-to-face conversation. 'Cause
That's
that's
fair.
scary. That's like vulnerable, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is just
Yeah.
a recycling song. That's close to my heart, so please don't hate it.
You're like, don't hate it, but like, don't directly give me affirmation. That would
Right.
be way too much.
But what happened was my mom put it on the fridge and
Mm.
directly affirmed me,
and then
and I was super embarrassed, and I was like, oh no. And so that
like,
was
this is not what I meant with
the
my
first and
marketing
last
ploy.
time I wrote a song. And
No, it's
that
not.
is the only thing I'm talking about with songwriting.
He said,
No, I'm just kidding.
imagine if you never wrote a song after that.
But it was like still an important thing to me.
That
Imagine
yeah,
if
you're
that-
like, I actually like, I've had these ideas.
But
I've
yeah,
wanted to write a song, but I just can't anymore. I'm traumatized.
I had the one and done.
One hit
One hit
wonder.
wonder,
It was
that's
your
it.
one hit wonder. It was your one hit wonder.
Yeah, that nobody ever saw.
That no,
Well, my
your-
mom saw,
literally your
and
whole
my
family did.
babysitter
It was
saw.
on the fridge. Anybody who walked into your house saw it.
I don't know how long it was on the fridge. I don't remember.
You think she took it down?
I hope so.
What do you mean you hope so? You wanted affirmation.
Anyways,
Okay, well,
so after that was my first song, and then
sorry.
and I've always kind of it's okay.
Start over.
I'm not gonna do that.
Wait, I need to drink some water.
Great.
Pause. Don't put this in here. I look like a child on my sippy cup.
Totally going in.
Don't put that in there. I threw something the other day. I don't know why. It was like a Cholula cap. And I don't know, in my head, I was at a restaurant. And in my head, I thought I was going to be able to throw the Cholula cap and it was going to land on.
Oh, that'd be so cool though.
I know, right? So, but I was sitting next to my friend Rob and I was like, huh. And he made fun of me for like so long afterward. He was like, you're like a toddler over here. You're like throwing things and drinking out of your sippy cup. I was like, that's so fair.
Wow.
So like, I'm sorry.
That's
Shout out
brutal.
to Rob. Anyways. Yeah, it's true though. I
Yeah.
was straight up, I don't know what was possessed me. Anyways.
Okay.
Tell us about your go.
Okay. I wrote that song, and then I like slowly started to pick up some instruments throughout like late elementary school into middle school, and then I dropped it all. I moved to Texas from Pennsylvania, and
Texas will do that to you.
well, I decided sports was the
Oh
life.
yeah.
And
Okay, yeah. I mean, you're a true Texas boy.
I mean, I had to try.
You give it all for the game.
'cause I was coming late. I was coming late to the game.
I didn't
got
think
put in
about that.
football.
That's true.
I had never touched a football with the intention of like playing tackle ever. And
Wow.
so I was not very good. And I'm
I mean,
also
you
like,
know.
I'm not aggressive. I'm just not.
It's a gentle giant.
Literally. So it didn't work.
But
It
he's
just
a real
didn't work.
boy.
I had a
so
coach
don't,
call me
like-
princess and cupcake
No,
and all that stuff.
really?
And it was like me. It
Why?
wasn't like the team. Because like I just
That's so
couldn't hang with the
mean.
contact. I didn't like it.
Oh, that's so mean.
Yeah, it was not kind. So
That's so mean.
after I
That's
went through that
upsetting.
phase,
Hey, coach, if you're out there, you're our op.
no, it's all good.
No, it's not good. You can't be calling people cupcake. That's rude. Okay. Sorry. He may be fine, but it's not cool. Anyways, keep going.
I'm not fine. No, I'm just kidding. So
Traumatized me forever.
I went through that phase, and then I
Uh-huh.
ended up getting like, I started running cross country after football because
Yeah.
swing the pendulum, it was way better because I didn't have to like. There's no
Yeah, there's
contact,
no contact. Yeah,
and I could
you're like
just
on your own. You're
shoot for my personal
self-pacing. Yeah,
best. Yeah, it was nice.
that's kind of nice. It's like competitive in a good
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah.
good. And then got injured doing that.
Would you
So
what?
I hurt my knee,
Oh,
and
that sucks.
I also like didn't.
Dang.
I don't know. Yeah. So I hurt my
Okay.
knee. I kind of had a
Mm-hmm.
kind of the full cross country season my sophomore year where I couldn't run, and so I
That
was like, what am I
sucks.
gonna do? Not that it was like my
And
life,
then
but like I had a lot
music
of more free
revived you.
time. Yeah, so I picked up. I had learned a
Dang.
little bit of guitar in
Mm-hmm.
sixth grade, and so I picked it up again in 10th grade, and I remembered some chords, and so I started learning some more, playing some more based off some chord sheets we had lying around the house, and
Like of
um,
what? What'd you
it was
play?
a lot of like just worship songs that
Okay, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like my dad's old guitar
It's like
case, and
easy.
so yeah, it's like
Good place to
four
start. Yeah,
chords that I
yeah.
knew. So
That's about as far as I've ever gotten. So
nice.
yeah,
That's honestly you don't need
no need
anything more
much.
if you don't
Yeah.
like it's perfect. So started doing
Mm-hmm.
that, and then I started to get some lessons, and then pretty much as soon as I like
When did you get
felt
lessons?
this was like when I was a sophomore. This
Okay,
was
cool.
like
Like
spring.
guitar lessons. How long
Hmm.
were you in lessons?
I was in lessons for a little while,
Okay.
probably a year and a half
Okay.
ish, and then I started picking up other instruments as high school went on. But
Okay.
with songwriting, I started doing that like the summer after my sophomore year. I had only been
Hmm.
playing guitar for like 5 or 6 months. I
Dang.
had never, I hadn't had vocal
You were
lessons
already
or
like good
anything.
enough to write songs and stuff.
Um,
Like you
I
could
mean, good
put
enough.
chords
I
behind
could,
your.
I could
Mhm.
sing and play the chords, and so I would come up with
Okay.
words and melodies
That's
while
impressive.
I played, and it just like
Took me a year to get
flowed.
confident enough on a guitar
Oh,
to sing over it.
yeah, have I tend to be really confident most of the time with things like I shouldn't be confident in. Um,
I'm
at
sorry.
that
Can
point,
you explain that a little more?
yeah, it's like so. Example:
Yeah.
do not have me on your trivia team because I will convince everyone on the team that whatever my answer is fact, and I have convinced myself that it's fact,
Oh my gosh.
and we will get it wrong every time.
That's really funny.
Every
I
time,
did not know that about you.
yeah.
That's really
So
funny.
like I'm like truly so confident in myself when I truly
Yeah.
should be able to recognize that I don't know
That you don't.
that like I don't know those
Interesting.
things. So why would I
Interesting.
be so confident?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's because I
Okay.
want to be like I want to
You're like,
know
I
it.
want to.
So
You're
if
like,
I
my
act
dream
like I
in life
know it,
is to be really good at trivia. So if I just act the part, I'll eventually be good at trivia.
yeah, and
Actually,
apparently that's not
that
how it
might
works.
work. Oh,
No,
well.
no, you got to know some stuff. You can't just be
Well, I mean, if
confident.
you go to enough trivia things, though.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, back to
Yeah.
songwriting.
Sorry.
Started songwriting, and then what? So I just kept writing through high school.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get better, trying to write with other people who kind of knew music
Mm-hmm.
more than I did and had been doing it for longer. I just loved it, and I loved getting to write with other people. I always wanted to be in a band, and I didn't. I got that my senior year for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
which was fun because those guys we were all like stylistically so different,
Oh, cool.
and so
That's fun.
yeah, it was a cool like
Mm-hmm.
blend of chords and topics and just like kind of the meter of the lyrics. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Cool.
And then in college, I kept writing. I released some music after my senior year
Yeah.
of high
Jack
school.
Eddie. Go look him up.
Jack Eddy, EDDY. Do not expect much. Just right now. GarageBand,
That's his best friend.
GarageBand. That's what I used. And I did not do any research on
You gotta
how to
start
like
somewhere. Who
mix
cares?
anything, so I just kind of
Yeah.
went for it.
Yeah. Who cares?
No, it was fun. It was more for me to like
To like actually do
I
it.
set that up to be able to have something that I can look back on and say
Mhm.
like these are the projects that I did when I was first starting and then how I've progressed.
Yeah.
Um and so it was just like a yeah, the
Mhm.
lyrics don't make sense. The chords are pretty emo,
They
kind of
don't make
like
sense. What do you mean?
no, like the
No, I've
stories
heard them.
they
They're not
don't
that
really
bad.
link.
No, no. I feel like that's drama. I've
Okay.
heard them. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
They
they're
make
not
sense.
that bad. Okay, they make sense.
Yeah.
That's enough for me. Great. They make sense. But I kept writing
If
through
somebody ever
college.
tells you that, you're gonna be like, no, Maria told me they make sense.
Yeah.
No, you're
Maria
wrong.
said.
Maria literally
Maria's
said.
the authority on this.
Yeah, duh.
But kept writing.
Yeah.
Got in a band in college, and we did some stuff. We have
What was the band name?
it's called Yearly, YRLY,
Fun.
because why have vowels when you can be edgy and not have vowels? We have one
You know,
song
you're
out.
so right.
Nice, thank you. We have one song out. It's called Pines, also recorded on
Cool.
GarageBand.
Yeah. Did you do it?
I did.
Ah.
Like we
look at
recorded it
that,
together,
yeah.
but I like mixed it
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It's not like, yeah, it's nothing crazy, but it was fun.
I feel like that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I don't actually know if that's true, but I feel like that's all that matters.
Depends on what your goal is, but
Yeah,
I
you're
think
so right.
my goal was
What is your goal?
we'll get there.
He's
So
like, shut up.
no, but that's coming. It's coming.
Okay, sorry.
So,
I'm skipping ahead.
Yeah, and that's when I kind of started being able to like play. We played a few live shows and got to play some originals, and that was really fun. And that was kind of my first kind of taste of sharing what we'd created.
Yeah.
And it was fun because it was like, it was good. I was in a band with two of my friends, and they were super talented musicians, incredible vocalists, and we got to write together, and it was just like, it was just awesome. And so we got to make some like music that we were proud of, and
That's
that
really
was
cool.
fun too. And so yeah, and then graduated college, started working the corporate life, and
Corporate life.
yeah, and a lot of other things, but I kind of dropped off on songwriting for a while. It was kind of sporadic and not really something I felt like I could do consistently. And then so over the past probably 6 to 8 months, I've been getting back into songwriting, and it's been really fun. I've had some different.
Only the last 6 to 8 months? Dang.
Yeah, I mean, I last 6 to 8 months of consistent effort.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because it was kind.
Like
It
you're
was like
still sort
around,
of doing
yeah.
it, but not like okay.
It was
okay,
probably
that
like
makes
once
sense.
every couple months, and now
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
like sitting down to do it more often. And even just like I just feel the freedom to do it.
Yeah.
Which is huge. So
that makes a big difference.
That's kind of like my full story with songwriting. And as far as like why I value it, I think there's like the creativity. I enjoy just creating things. I enjoy communicating with people and getting to like share emotions in really tangible ways. Kind of like, yeah. And then I also like being able to write with other people is special to me. Because you just get to like hear their perspectives and work it into like, you kind of like blend your views and
that's interesting
values and kind of how you see things, and you kind of like find the middle ground in a way where you still have to like, I don't know, you still have to get there yourself, but now you're doing it with other people. And so I think it's cool. And I would do this thing in college where I'd just like ask friends what was going on in their lives, and if there was something like I had a friend go through a breakup, and so I wrote like he's super creative. Not he doesn't do music, but he's just very creatively wired, and we wrote a few songs together of just like his breakup, and so that was super fun to be able to like put something to song, because that person couldn't like express himself in that way, and so to be able to be that kind of mouthpiece,
that's cool.
Was really fun.
That's cool.
And so yeah, and I just love music, and I think it's beautiful, and like to make it. So
dang.
Yep.
Look at you. What do you like the most about writing on your own, and then what do you like the most about writing with people outside of like, you kind of talked a little bit about like mouthpiece stuff and like finding common ground with that kind of stuff, but outside of those two things.
Yeah. I think writing on my own gives me space to process in a different way.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I can connect with my own emotions a little bit more,
Okay.
um, and even just like process a situation. Like it really just gets me in touch with my emotions. Like something will happen, and I have to respond to it in one way.
Mm.
Whether like if it's a with another person, if it's a conflict or something, like
Mm-hmm.
there's a way I have to approach that. That not that it's unemotional, but I have got to filter and
Okay.
not quite like I don't want to like explode on someone
Mm-hmm.
and like not have thought about it and not have like if I want to reconcile with someone after having a conflict, I'll come to the table with different
Mm-hmm.
emotions. And when
Yeah.
I'm writing a song about it, I can bring like
Yeah.
some more raw emotion to it. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
it just helps me connect with the raw emotion. I don't really respond with that raw, like
Mm.
I'm just going from my emotions very often.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Dang.
songwriting is kind of that
What's that like?
bridge to get me there.
Don't know it. Never heard of her.
Yeah, I don't know. Who's to
Very
say?
cool. Who's to say?
And then writing with people
Mm-hmm.
is just fun. I don't. It's just like getting to do an
Mm-hmm.
activity I love with friends is great. Getting to challenge myself creatively to like step into a different perspective and step into a
Yeah.
different like headspace, and even to like I like am totally I've totally got some like perfectionist and
Mm-hmm.
I just like to do things well, and it challenges me to kind of redefine what is doing it well
Oh,
when I'm with someone
that's
else
interesting. Yeah.
because their ideas
Yeah.
like it would be really easy for me to be like, oh, that's bad
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
my idea of it is different.
Yeah.
And so it challenges me to be like, no, like this is different and it's good that it's different and
Mm-hmm.
I should run with it, run
Mm-hmm.
with them as they are developing this idea and kind of help
Yeah.
them however I can. And so yeah, I don't know, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's super different from writing on your own because you have to
Yeah. Uh-huh.
kind of consider the other person and consider her people, um,
Mm-hmm.
and like work off their ideas too, um, which honestly I appreciate because finding like chords and melodies, I don't know. I like other people's chords and melodies most of the time. They're really
Okay.
man, it's
Interesting. Okay,
beautiful.
that was going to be my next
But I
question is
love
how
the
you start.
lyrics.
Like where you start and what you like the most
Oh,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
So
let's do it.
lyrics, yeah.
Yeah, I don't start with lyrics. I start with the
Oh.
music. Hmm.
Okay, explain.
I start with a chord progression most of the time. I just try to
Okay.
find a chord progression, and then
That
from
like
there,
matches like how do you pick one?
I don't know. I think I have an idea of the vibe I want, and so I'll try chord progressions that fit that, or
Okay.
just kind of like sometimes I end up sitting down and strumming.
So
I
wait, do you
usually
have
write
an
on guitar.
idea of what you want to say? So like you start with kind of a concept and then you find the chord progression and then you move to lyrics? Is
I
that what you're
guess,
saying?
yeah, and that's a more recent thing.
Okay.
Because I
Okay.
used to just kind of sit down with the guitar
Mhm.
and start strumming and kind of come up with a story. And it's not
Oh.
necessarily something I experienced, but I just wanted to come up with
Just like
something
tell a
and work
story.
in some
Okay.
things I experienced. But
Uh-huh. Yeah.
mostly it was like, oh, I'm telling a story of a fictional character and it's fun. Um,
That's cool.
and
Mhm.
well, yes, but I was coming from a place of I don't have a story worth telling. And so
Oh,
I've had to like,
unhealthy.
yeah,
Yes. Okay.
okay, call me out.
Sorry. Okay, Joe.
So
Okay, you said it.
that's true, I did. Say it again. No, don't.
It's like,
Um,
actually, don't talk about it anymore. I
so
actually don't want to talk about this.
I've had to learn to, um, like value my own story, even just like
Okay, yeah.
value
Mhm.
myself, but value my own
Mhm.
story and be willing to like sit with it and like
Yeah.
tell it to myself
Yeah.
and tell it to others and so I've started to like I have a topic in mind, whether it's this
Mhm.
situation happened, I wonder what I can write about it, or I'm feeling this way, you know, how can I write about it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll start. Recently, it's been starting with the concept,
Mm.
and then finding a progression that kind of connects me with how I'm feeling, I
Yeah.
guess.
Do you have to be feeling that thing at the time? Like if you
Mm-mm.
came okay.
Well, if I come up with a concept, I don't have to be feeling it. If I start writing the song, like if I start trying to find the chords, I kind of end up feeling it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
that's kind of how music works though. It's like
yeah,
kind of pushing you towards a certain
hmm
kind of emotion, whether
yeah,
you like it or not.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of what I do with
Mhm.
the chord progression, um, and then from there, it's just finding the words to say and the
Yeah.
melody to say them in, and
Mhm.
um, I tend to be pretty wordy, so
No, what?
yeah.
You
Can you tell?
never.
How long have I
He
been going?
would
Um,
We're going to edit it out to where you only had like two sentences.
I love it. So yeah, but that's kind of my approach. And
Okay,
then
cool.
usually this is new for me too. I've never been good at bridges.
Okay.
Like
Oh,
that
okay.
part of the song, you've got your
Just like
verses
change it
that's
up a little bit.
telling the
Yeah.
story, and then your chorus is kind of hammering home the
Mhm.
main
Yeah.
concepts or whatever.
Mhm.
And then the bridge is kind of like, I don't know, I kind of see it as like uh going a little bit deeper than the verses.
Oh,
Um that's
interesting.
kind of how I view it. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
interesting.
way to like kind of really hit home some of the emotions of the story and some of the like
That's
conclusions
funny.
I'm coming to.
Every time I've written a bridge,
So
it's my afterthoughts.
yeah,
Like
okay.
I've like if I'm writing, like for example, if I'm writing a song that's like, man,
Hmm.
things are all changing and
Yeah,
like I don't know if I'm comfortable with this or whatever, my bridge would be something like there are times that I'm happy and then I come straight back. Like
that's
it's like
funny.
totally off
Yeah,
the
yeah.
wall. So that's interesting cuz
Interesting.
yours is like,
Mine is more of
yeah.
like sometimes I feel like it's like my bridge is my action step. So I'm telling a
Oh.
story, I've got how I'm feeling, and then I've got,
Uh-huh.
my action step or what I've
Yeah, like what's
realized.
it? Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
that's a lot of pressure.
what do you mean? For a bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
think of it as like a breather. I'm like something that's
oh,
like
I
take
like
me
that.
out of what's happening right now
Okay.
and then I come back. But like
Hmm.
that I feel like that would be a good challenge.
Yeah, and yours to me as well because
Yeah.
that's super different. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Interesting.
Um that's neat. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I haven't been writing. I
Mhm.
will write verses and chorus,
Yeah.
um and then I just won't write a bridge. And so I'll
That's
come
fair.
back to it way
Whenever
later.
you like learn whatever or you feel like you've got a grasp on something
Yeah.
about it.
I think that's what it
Okay.
is. I've never articulated this before either. So this is
He's
like
like, this is
I'm an
new.
external processor.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
Um so
Like I'm learning so many things. Jack is learning so many things about himself right now.
truly. But yeah, that's kind of how I
That's funny.
approach
Okay,
like
cool.
writing a song. So
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
mhm.
Cool. What would you say? We kind of answered. Okay, something that we do here. Just so you know, I say
We've
we
been doing
do.
it for a
We've been doing
while.
it for a long time. We go back way back. Um, is we're trying to ask the questions of like where I forgot them.
Um
What was the first one?
I don't remember the first
I
one.
don't remember.
I
Why do
remember
I
the
not
second
remember? Yeah,
one.
where are you going? What's your peak? Oh, what are you doing? Okay,
Okay.
fix that one.
Yeah.
Fix that one.
We remember the first.
Whatever.
What am I
Something that we
yeah.
typically ask, like what we're trying to really accomplish in this is trying to figure out what are we doing? Like, what is that activity that you're like passionate about and all of that? Where are you going? And I feel like you kind of answered that a little bit of like it's
Mhm.
changed a lot for you. The last question is, what do you think would be your peak? Like,
Mm.
how would you articulate what a peak for a song for you as a songwriter would be when you're thinking about what
Yeah.
your journey with songwriting looks like. Whether that's something that you've already accomplished or if that's something that you're like, man, I would love to be at this point with songwriting and that
Mm.
would make me feel secure as a songwriter and in this activity.
Yeah, I think
It's a
for
loaded question.
me,
Good luck.
thanks. Um somebody pray for me. I'm I think
You have to wait for them to pray for you if
oh,
you ask them.
moment of silence.
Yeah.
Okay. I thank you for your prayers. um, I think a, the idea of a peak with my
Uh-huh.
songwriting, I feel like the way I think about that is
Mhm.
that I would peak and then the rest of it is downhill. And I just
Okay.
don't like the idea of that. I don't like the idea of like
That's
I either
fair.
get to a peak and it stops or I get to a peak and it just kind of falls off.
Okay.
I'd like to think songwriting, because it's been like before I even knew music,
Mhm.
it was something I
You were
wanted to
literally writing
do.
about recycling. Yeah. Mhm.
So I'd love to write about recycling forever. No, I'm just kidding. But I
I mean, you
would,
did. That's the
for the
only song
rest,
you've ever
I
written.
would
So.
love to, with where I'm at now,
Mhm.
my goal is like my peak, I guess, would just be to like keep songwriting in my life, to continue
Mhm.
to write and to learn more about music and lyrics so that I can continue to
Yeah.
write and write differently and write better and kind of
Mhm.
grow my writing as I grow.
Yeah.
Um, and just keep it around for as long as I can. And
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
I can
So
think
like
of
kind of like you don't want it to be a stagnant thing for you in your life.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you would say like as a peak is like if this becomes a stagnant thing where I have to do it or I don't want to do it anymore, then that would be like not that would be like a valley.
It would be a valley, but I think like I've walked through those seasons um, of
Mhm.
not having anything to write about or just
Mhm.
not feeling like it. Just really
Okay.
like, man, I don't feel up to this.
Mhm.
And I've had to come to a place of like, hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that, if that lasts forever, like okay, like
Yeah.
but I don't think it hasn't lasted forever
Yeah.
for me
Okay.
so far. I've walked through those seasons before, and but for me, it's just like okay, this is where I'm at right now, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna like. There's other things I'm doing to
Mhm.
like kind of reflect and process things, and so
Mhm.
not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just something I enjoy, and so
Yeah.
um, if I could keep it around, I would like to, and I think that would be my peak, just having it around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
thanks.
He said, I'm a sweet guy.
What can I say?
What can I say? I'm a nice guy.
I'm a nice guy.
Nice guy loves the Lord.
Gets prayed for. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's y'all
Thank you,
though.
listener.
Thank
Wherever you
you.
are. Thank you for praying for Jack in that moment. Even though this is pre recorded, it meant a
Whatever
lot to
moment
him
you're in, I appreciate it.
in the moment that you did. So,
You make the other half.
oh, wait.
I'm holding up my
Oh,
hand for a
wait.
heart. You
This is
make
a
the other half.
moment for you guys. Oh,
Okay.
that was sweet.
All right.
That was really sweet.
And that's that on me.
That's
So we're
it.
gonna we're gonna move to Maria now.
Can I get some water?
Absolutely.
No. Imagine if you were like, no.
Don't do that. I'm just kidding.
Like, this is so, you're literally embarrassing us.
No, I love it. It's a Stanley, so it's adult. It's not a sippy cup.
It's not a sippy
It's
cup.
a Stanley.
It's literally
Not a
sippy cup.
sippy, a Stanley. Not a
That was
Sitley, a Standley.
that no that I was about to say
We're
that
getting
wasn't your
worse.
best, but I was like that one was.
It was worse, right?
It was. That's okay.
Yeah. I think dad jokes keep people from being bookstacks.
That is an interesting claim that I'm gonna have to think about
Cool.
for a minute.
And while you're thinking, let's get you talking. But after you sip more water.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. So, Maria,
Yeah.
what what do you do? What do you
What do I
do
do?
based on what you
What I
like
value?
value?
I guess we didn't go through the values. No, we did
We
sort of.
did.
You hit them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you do and then why do you do it?
Okay, what I do is this okay, I was thinking about this. I am an internal processor. So before I got here, I was like, I guess I'm going to talk to you guys about singing, which feels so lame. I was
It's
thinking
not
about
lame.
it does it's not lame. It's not lame, but it feels really lame. But anyways, so I'm sorry. I'm still with plague. I'll never get better. Anyways,
Drama.
drama. I want to talk to you guys about singing, I guess. It's kind of a weird one though. I think a lot of my values have to do with like beauty, creativity, and connection with people. That's a lot of where I feel like I find a lot of fulfillment and purpose in. And when I was thinking about like what to talk about or what I do from those things, the only thing I could think about was singing, which is kind of crazy.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you start singing? When did that become something that you love to do?
You know, I can't remember a time that I wasn't singing, if I'm being completely honest. Like my parents say that I was singing before I was talking. I can't my dad's side of the family, they're all like musical in some way. So, there's a lot of singers. All of them sing for sure, and then they play instruments and things like that too. So I just kind of grew up in an environment where, and my mom was like, my mom's side of the family is not singers, but they really appreciate all of that kind of stuff. So literally every family event or anything that we did, they would be like, "Oh, you guys should sing and like you should do this and blah blah." So I kind of just grew up singing a lot. I really attribute a lot of it to my family. My grandpa and my grandma were worship leaders and pastors and whatever. Um, it looks totally different now. I feel like there's like roles for it now, but when they were in
Mm.
ministry, it was like you just did everything.
Mm.
So they did the whole thing. But we would go over, and my grandpa was like, they would just crack open the hymnal and we'd sing together. And I just loved it.
That's sweet.
I loved it a lot, and I just remember at a young age like loving music and loving to sing, and I like songwrite a little bit too, and a lot of that had to do with like I just loved to sing and I just wanted to get it out somehow. So yeah, I just can't remember a time where in my life where I wasn't singing. And I think that singing for me, because I guess because of my values and things like that too. But I just think it expresses something totally different. There's something really equalizing about it. I mean, some people are like better singers than others. Not that everybody's great, but everybody can sing in some form or fashion. And there's all these emotions that we feel that like almost can't be expressed without it. Like when we're really sad, we're singing, and when we're really happy we sing, and when we're bored we sing, and like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
why do humans do that? I don't really know, and I
Right.
think it's really interesting. And so and I've definitely like benefited from it in a lot of ways. But yeah, and it just uses your whole body, because you're like diaphragms engaged, like whether you even want to or not. You're It's just like your whole being is involved whenever you're singing, like mentally, emotionally, physically. You are completely focused on something, and I just think there's something really beautiful about that. That as humans, we're just like wired to be completely focused on something when we're singing something. Like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can be sidetracked. Obviously, you can learn to not be, but
Yeah.
that's not the way that we're wired. I mean, you think of a kid singing; they're like in their own little world. It's almost never a
Yeah.
time that you're like watching a kid sing and they're like multitasking. So, yeah, have just been singing forever,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. So okay, so the last thing you said, kind of like getting our whole kind of beings involved in singing. I feel like so I've experienced the like being reserved when singing, kind
Yeah.
of only like, okay, I'm going to practice this for my voice, or being private with it, and like I
Yeah.
don't want anybody to hear me. What does it
Uh-huh.
look like for you to engage your whole being,
Yeah.
emotions and your body, and like what does that look like for you
Yeah.
when you're singing?
Well, first thing I'll say to that is that being reserved in singing is something learned as you like grow up, because again,
True.
like you don't look at a kid. A kid is not worried about how they sound. And they just sing. Like I mean, that's why we think it's so funny, and there's all these videos of it, because you're like, oh my gosh, they're just so honest and vulnerable. But I had a vocal coach tell me one time, Addie, shout out to Addie, she's amazing. But one of the things that she always talks about, which I think is like so genius and like so beautiful, and the best way to describe it is that our voice is one of the most vulnerable parts of us. Like you literally can't do anything about the way you talk and the way that you sing. Like the way that you talk and sing is who you are. And I mean, it's not all of who you are, but it's a huge chunk. And it's a very like exposing part of who you are. So
Yeah.
which I think is really interesting. But I think that that's part of it is, and part of why it is flows from a lot of my values, because I really also value authenticity and being my full self wherever I go. And I'm not good at it, but I like really value that and I really admire that in people. But I think that singing has trained me in a lot of ways to do that, because when you're singing and you can grow your voice and like you can, you know, all of that kind of stuff happens too. You can become a better singer, uh, for sure. But I think for me, the embodiment of like getting in touch with whatever emotion I'm feeling, that I'm like physically. I mean, there's lots of also different like posture. I think often think of musical theater, of like when
Mm.
you're embodying a character.
Yeah.
It's like that, but you can do that for yourself.
Okay.
If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But it just helps you unlock something that like in your emotions, that it helps you connect with yourself in a lot of ways. It it also just like, for me it's very mentally challenging because I enjoy like the discipline of it and I enjoy doing it often. So like I will often listen to artists that like have fun runs and challenge myself to like learn things, and you, it's such a weird thing to think about, but when you're singing you have to like mentally and visually like visualize where you're going when you're singing, like, and it's kind of weird that it comes naturally to us, but it's true. Like you're kind of mentally trying to like keep up with pitch and timbre, like it's just all kinds of stuff like that. Like tempo, and like you're trying to make sure, there's all these words that we have for it, but
Right.
it's such a mental thing that it's something we've naturally done that we've had to put words to,
Mm.
but like we have to do it. We're engaging in something. And again, I just think it's really interesting that it captures our full attention. So I don't know. I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I love that. That's good.
Yeah. I
You
don't know if that
mentioned,
answered your question.
yeah, it did. And I got more. So
Yeah,
here we
well,
go. Here
yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
Um,
It's kind of the name of the game with me, I
yeah.
guess. Believe it or not, I
Mm,
talk more than him. I think I do. Actually, I don't know, but I think I do.
I have no idea. I guess we'll find out. We got a timer going on both of us for sure.
Do
Yeah,
we?
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
No, we don't.
Oh.
But so you mentioned like being reserved in singing is
Hmm.
something that is learned.
Yeah.
Um, which I totally agree with. And
Yeah.
I think that's like life in general. Like
Yeah,
when
for
you're a
sure.
kid, there's something about when you're a kid, um, you just are a lot more
Yeah.
open.
Uh-huh.
And as you get older and have different experiences and
Hmm.
yeah, whether it's different hurts or traumas or
Yeah.
whatever, you start to like close off different parts of yourself.
Hmm. And sometimes that's a good thing. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
always a bad thing.
yeah, I think it's part of growth. But
Hmm.
I would say for most, I, I think I think most people, like myself included, there are also some unhealthy ways that we close ourselves
Yeah.
off. So
Really?
I mean, I
I have
think
no idea what you're talking
I
about.
don't know though. I don't know. I'm no expert,
I have no. Yeah.
but
Also,
I can
yeah.
speak for myself for sure. So my question
Uh huh.
is like how so in learning to sing and learning to be vulnerable in that
Yeah.
way with your full
Hmm.
self, how do you kind of fight against those reservations you may have from just growing up and um
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that this is just me personally. I really love it. Like I think it's fun, and I think that there's a point in life just in general where there are things that you love something more than you fear it.
Mm.
And I think that's what it is for me, is I just love it. I tell people all the time, like, I was talking to two friends the other day, and they were talking about singing, and I had done this thing with them, and it was funny because I told them, like, I actually don't even know if the thing that I produced was actually good, but I had so much fun doing it that I just didn't care. Like,
That's
you know what I
awesome.
mean? Like, I was just
Yeah.
kind of like, that was so enjoyable for me, and I tell them that all the time. Like, anytime I'm talking about singing, I'm like, it really does feel like such a privilege to me. I'm like, I just had a lot of fun, and I don't really care if it was good or not. Um, and that helps me to, like, not take myself too seriously.
Yeah.
um I don't know. I also just think that singing is one of those things that's a little subjective. There's some objective things about it, like, pitch and stuff, like, you don't want to be, or like
Yeah.
keys and
Yeah.
things, like, whatever. But also, like, whether people like your voice or not is very subjective, and unfortunately things just, like, trend, and we don't always value people in the way that we should. But, like, I don't know, I just like it, and it just helps me take the pressure off of, like, okay, my voice may be, somebody may think I have the most beautiful voice in the whole entire world, and somebody else may think my voice is crap, and it just doesn't matter. So I think that that's it for me, is fighting against those things, and keeping vulnerability is more just loving it more than I fear it.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
I don't know if I don't know if that could be an applied answer
Yeah.
to, like, a generally applied.
Mm-hmm.
I also, like, am not a professional singer in any way, shape, or form. So I feel kind of weird talking on behalf of singing, but I also was like, well, but it is kind of funny because it's just such a vulnerable thing. It really is. And I don't think I always recognize, or, like, give give that part the attention that it deserves. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Quick pushback.
Okay.
Maria has literally gotten paid to sing consistently on multiple occasions. So technically, and
No.
personally, subjectively for me, she is a
Personally,
professional.
subjectively.
She is a professional.
I'm not a
Um,
professional.
and she has a great
But
voice.
I like to do
So
it, so it's fun.
she enjoys it and she's good at it. Do you feel like, jumping back,
Yeah.
do you feel like like you have fun with it and you love it
Mhm.
more than you fear it? Have you always been in that place, or were there seasons where you felt a lot of pressure to be good, or fear around it, or anything like that?
Yeah. That definitely is a, like, more as I've grown up thing,
Mm.
and worked on myself mentally, and,
Shout out
gone to
counseling, am
counseling.
I
Yeah,
right?
gone to
Come
counseling.
on.
Woo. Yeah. I think and I still really struggle sometimes singing in front of my family gets really mad at me.
Mm.
Um,
Why?
Sorry. Because my mom literally will, like, throw fits and be like, "You literally never sing for us." Like, and even, like, I was sick this past Christmas, and my whole family was like, "So you're literally not even going to sing for us? You're not even going to do it?" And I was like, "Okay, everybody, I'm feverish. Like, I cannot." And I sounded sick, and I was coughing
Mm.
like crazy. And I was like, honestly, rude of you guys. But that's always been a struggle for me. For me, the biggest fear is I hated singing in front of people I knew. I had no problem singing in front of people I didn't know, because I was like, I don't care about your opinion. Like, if you don't like it, great, whatever.
Yeah.
But the people I know, I was like, I just could, like, there was a point in my life, and I still think that I have, like, remnants of this, but it's a lot less now, that I was, like, so terrified to just even hear the feedback from them that I just wouldn't. So, and I would tell my parents that all the time, because they would be like, you sing for strangers, you do all this stuff. Like, um, I was singing choir all the time, and I had, like, solos and stuff, but I would never tell them, like, my friends
Yeah.
and family, that
Right. Yeah.
I had a solo or anything like that, because I was like, I don't want them to know, because I don't want them to come in and, like, judge me in any way. Um, so, and it just feels personal. Like, if you play a sport, you can do something, and then, like, I don't know, it doesn't feel personal when you're like, okay, I need to change this thing, or I need to grow in this thing, or whatever. I don't know. It just feels like
Mm.
there's some kind of detachment of, like, I have room for growth. But when you're singing, it almost feels kind of like, that's all I gave everything. Like, that's all I could have
Mm.
done.
Yeah.
And so there's something really scary about that too. So um
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's kind of where that's come from for me.
Mm.
and where the fears and things, and it has held me back a lot. There are a lot of things that I haven't done,
Yeah.
or haven't sung in, or haven't, whatever, out of fear. But I don't know. I think that it's a lot less for me now. I think I've just done it a lot now. And again, I think that I've realized that I'm more unhappy when I don't sing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
That's good.
Sometimes I can't tell if I just start talking. Like, did I
It's
even
an
get
answer.
that? Like, did I?
It's an answer to the question. So no,
That's
but
fair.
it was.
Is it
Yeah.
sufficient? Like, I don't know.
I
Guess
don't
we'll
know.
find out.
I guess.
You can let us know in the comments.
Yeah. For sure. Okay, so what does singing look like for you now?
What it looks like for me now.
Yeah.
That's a good question too. I don't even know. I do it a lot. I think it's become more of an expression for me than anything.
How so?
I think when I was young, I was a little more disciplined about it. Like I wanted to grow in certain areas, or I wanted to like do certain runs, or I wanted to, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was always like trying to
There's like a
challenge
technical
myself.
skill that
Yeah,
you wanted to develop.
And
Yeah.
now I think I just got to the point where like I think I've developed a lot of skills in that area, and now I'm kind of like I just want to feel like I'm saying what I mean, or singing what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting, and I think that's what has spurred on my like a little bit of my musical theater kick and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's very much like telling a story and all of that. So yeah, I don't I find myself now, this is gonna sound so crazy, but like it's true. There I find myself now like being around my apartment and just singing whatever I want in the moment. Just to get it out.
Yeah.
So and I think I don't know if this is true, but I read somewhere that that's like good for your mental health. I don't know if it is, but I just do it anyways. I'm like, can't
Good for
hurt.
mine. So
It can't hurt.
yeah.
Like can't
Come
get any
on.
worse. So so I don't know. But it's things like whatever I'm feeling, but I will literally just kind of make something up. So I guess that's a little bit of like songwriting, whatever, but I don't do anything with it. I've started to get to the point now, even in songwriting, where I'm like, I'm not going to record anything. I'm not going to put it down. I'm just going to sing whatever I think and feel right now. But it is very much, it's not necessarily songwriting because it is very vocally focused.
Yeah, it's
like
for the singing
Yeah.
rather than the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not a story. It's like connection.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what it looks like for me now. And I do like,
Mhm.
I mean, I sing at church and stuff, which is fun. I like it a lot. I've always really connected with God through singing. So that's always been like, I think, a little bit of a safe haven. Also sometimes when you sing things that you are feeling, it doesn't feel so real. Like it feels a little bit like you can observe it and see it, like bring it outside of you and be like,
Interesting.
okay, didn't know I was feeling that. So that's
Yeah.
something that I feel like I've been using it for to get it out and see it in front of me a little bit.
Cool.
Which
Yeah.
again sounds crazy, but that's what I'm doing
Nice.
now.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so where are you going with singing?
Where am I going?
And what? Yeah, we'll just stay there for now. Where are you going with
Where
singing?
am I going? Yeah, I think that I would like to challenge myself a little more in singing, and I think challenge myself in the sense of find new ways to do it. Like
Okay.
I think I've kind of explored I've explored a lot as far as like technically and opportunities. I've sung a lot in front of people, stuff like that. But I would really like to try and challenge myself in ways that I haven't been challenged before. So a little bit of like, I don't know what I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to, I don't know. Yeah, I also would love to be a part of choir again.
Okay.
Ugh, there's nothing better.
Fun. That'd be
There is
awesome.
nothing better.
What do you like
than being
about
choir. because there's things that, uh, it's so cool. There are things that you literally can't accomplish on your own.
Yeah.
Like these really beautiful things that you'll never be able to accomplish on your own, and you can do it with this group of people. That's wild.
It is crazy.
That's wild.
It's so
Like,
beautiful.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to.
Speaking of like singing on our own doesn't make any sense,
Mhm.
but then singing together and it being so beautiful, like what the heck is that?
I know. It's crazy.
That's cool.
It's crazy. The way that things can be strung together,
Yeah.
communicate something with people and connect you with the people in the room. Like,
Mm,
that's wild. That should
yeah.
not be a thing, but it is, and we do it all the time. And I don't know. I think part of why I really, not to get on a worship tangent or anything, because I don't really want to go there. Right? That's not what we're talking about. But like, I think that's one of the most powerful things that we do in the church, because it's really, honestly, Sunday mornings is one of the only places that we like sing together consistently.
Yeah.
And you know, we always kind of like, I feel like a lot of people treat it as like a buffer, like a like, oh well, this is just like to buy people some time while they're taking their kids to, you know, kids care and whatever, and they're trying to, you know,
Yeah.
like we kind of treat it that way. But I'm like, there's literally nowhere else in the world that happens. Like, I mean, concerts, yes, but those aren't consistent things, you know. So I
Mm,
just think that's really interesting. And I believe that God values singing, one, because our being is completely focused on something, two, because it's kind of a health state, like it
yeah.
kind of explains
You're really
dependence.
coming as you are.
Yeah, and then the last one was vulnerability.
Yeah.
Like you can't run. Who you are is who you are in that moment. So I think that's interesting. But
Mm,
I all that to say, choirs kind of accomplish a lot of that and connect you with people. And I just haven't been a part of a choir since college.
yeah.
And I spent, y'all, I spent every day in choir in college like a weepy mess. Like a weepy mess. I'm not kidding. Every rehearsal, I was like, I was just crying because I was like, this is so beautiful. And I was in like a freshman Belmont like women's choir. Like it was
That's
not
awesome.
like I wasn't even a music student. I just begged the director to let me in. I was like, please, I need to be part of a choir. And she was like, okay. And I was like, I swear, if I'm off key or if I'm in the way, just like, I won't say anything. I'll just like mouth, like, just let me in, you know? And she was like, sure, go ahead. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, I would love to be a part of a choir again.
Yeah.
And, yeah, kind of
Yeah.
explore more of what I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so what and then off that, what would a peak look like for you with singing? And I say a
Yeah,
peak because I feel like when you
a
hit
peak.
one, you'll like there's another
There's
one
another
that you
one.
probably
Like
like you
Tangled,
might want to
Finding a
get
New
to.
Dream.
Yeah,
You haven't seen
for
Tangled, have
sure.
you?
I've
Don't
seen
tell me.
Tangled.
You have?
It has been a long time and I love that movie, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, whatever. He
So
hasn't
finding a
seen
new
it.
dream, what would be a
Yeah,
peak for you
a
right now?
peak. Um,
I'll go watch Tangled and you tell us about
I'll
this.
tell you about my peak. Um, I think that I actually don't. I only have one because
Yeah.
that's all I thought of. But my grandma has one of the most beautiful voices I've ever heard, and it's just aged so gracefully, like, and
Mm,
beautifully. And she's, I mean, obviously has like half the range that she used to, and I mean, it's still great. She's still good.
that's awesome.
But I think that it, it, something about her when she's singing is that she just like seems to really love life and love what she's doing. And so I think that that's my peak of like, I would like to be someone who maybe, like, even when I lose technical skill, that would
Mm,
still be able to find joy in it.
yeah. Yeah.
Because that, you know, all of that fades, and hopefully it'll fade more like my grandma's, because it's kind of crazy. She's crazy talented. But even if it doesn't, and I have a really horrible voice and like I sound really bad one day and it just like all falls apart, I hope that I still find joy in it. So I really do think that my peak, I think when I envision my peak in singing, it's being 90 and still loving it.
Yeah.
That's what I would want my peak to be. And oh, Okay, also, I would want, like, if I'm have kids or if my, like, nieces and nephews are in the picture, like, I would want somebody in my family to love it too. Like, that would be, like,
Yeah.
the greatest fulfillment. In my vision of being 90 and loving what I do, there's somebody younger than me next to me that also loves it. So, if I could pass that on to somebody, not that that's, like, passed on, I guess, but, I don't know. I think that that would just be the coolest thing, to be able to see and know and have invested in somebody who also really loves it and finds joy in it. So I think that's one thing that my grandma and I can bond over,
Yeah.
because we both just really love it. So
I love that it's a very familial and very like generational,
mhm.
like your perspective on kind of
Yeah,
seeing it. It's
mhm.
super
I
like
guess that's
you
a
love
value
it for
too.
you, but it's also like a
Mhm.
very communal experience.
It is. I mean, it
Um
has to be. How
and
boring would it be if it was just me
well,
forever?
yes. I don't think it'd be boring if it was just you, but it's like because you have a great
It would.
voice, but it's fun. It's so much better that so many people
Yeah.
can sing and are willing to sing together. But I think it's
Mhm.
cool that like you want that even within your family. I think
Mhm.
because you mentioned earlier, it's kind of the hardest place to be that vulnerable or
Yeah.
vulnerable in that
Mhm.
way is with your family.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so to be able to share it and like kind of be
Yeah.
vulnerable together,
Mhm.
um, that's really sweet. I love
Yeah.
that.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's funny too because I think a lot about my singing journey. My dad also sings, and he has a really beautiful voice as well. Or I guess that's not very manly. He has a good
I don't know. You
voice.
can say
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like it's
I don't know. I
a
don't know how
beautiful
voice
voice
work.
is a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
Male or female,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's great.
But
So
he has a really good voice. But I remember growing up, like there are certain things that I hear just him singing, and he's like also knows a lot of harmony. And it's funny because I was talking to a friend the other day of like, what, how do you even learn harmony? Because I was like, I feel like I was just like born with it. I wasn't, but like it's because of my family. They just continued to sing and they shared their voice with me. And I heard it all the time. And my dad, every time we were in the car, it was like always a harmony. And so it's just interesting that you can like pass that on to through singing.
yeah,
I don't know. I think that's really beautiful.
that's
And
cool.
the fact that you can hear somebody's voice and learn to
Yeah,
find your own voice in that too. I think it's really beautiful. So
hmm.
I hope that I could do that too. That would be part of my peak as well, which I kind of said, but
Like
you know,
helping someone find their voice.
yeah,
Yeah,
mm-hmm, yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
Love it,
That's singing.
man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
It's lovely.
you're welcome. Thanks for sharing your songwriting journey.
Hey, my pleasure.
You say, oh, did you work at Chick-fil-A?
Oh, what? Shout out Chick Fil A.
Whoa.
Shout out
We've really
Jesus
just,
Chicken.
yeah,
Come
we've
on.
like totally exposed ourselves as Christians here. Not that that's a
Yeah,
bad thing,
not
but like
bad.
you didn't have to watch long to figure that one out.
Probably not.
Oh man.
Yep.
Christians are weird, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've made it this far, you know. You know how weird.
You've seen it
You've seen it firsthand.
firsthand here.
Wow.
Well,
But hey,
hopefully you'll meet some other people that are cool.
that are better than Bookstacks.
Whoa, what?
Full circle? Is that what you're going for?
Yep,
Yep.
that's what I was trying to say.
Cover to cover.
Yeah.
Oh, 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 he just keeps coming with it.
Wow. Wow,
Wow.
that was good.
Was it though?
I
You don't have to
know.
say
It's
that.
okay.
We'll
I
let
couldn't
y'all
say full
decide.
circle, so
Yeah.
all right,
Anyways,
well, that's
that's
better than
all we
book
got.
stacks.
Um,
Come back if you want to hear our friends do the same thing and talk about the things that they love and that they're passionate about, because that could be cool. And they're like really entertaining.
yeah,
So it's gonna be fun.
it'll be way better than this.
No, like way better.
But anyways,
But we just felt like we needed to do it first before we
Yeah.
like ask other people to do it. It's
we
like,
got to be
whatever.
vulnerable before you. Vulnerability breeds vulnerability. Is
Yeah,
that the saying?
that's what they
Yeah.
say. That's what the Christians say. Yeah.
That's what the Christians say. And so we're Christians and we're saying it.
Yeah.
But anyways, appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time
Next
on
time on
Better Than
Book
Book Stacks.